People thought that they'd seen it all, right? That they'd seen it all of Matty Kiwoom on the Minded Mansion. Oh no. Oh no. Oh yeah! Let's go, baby! Oh. All right.
It's enough dancing. We could do that forever.
We have a whole show sheet that we did not get to because we spent an hour and 15 minutes on Quentin Johnston. And, you know, Twitter's trying to change my mind. And they're not being 100% effective, but I am starting to get a little nervous because he was an incredible playmaker at the college level. He was number one in yards per team pass attempt, and his yards per reception was like 20 every season. So he was making explosive plays, and he was the number one tackle breaker. So if there is a comp that he could potentially live up to in the NFL, it's Deebo Samuel. Okay, so Deebo Samuel, when you look at Quentin Johnston's game, there is some Deebo Samuel in his ability to just break tackles. But Deebo Samuel was used often out of the backfield because he was so good at football and he had such great instincts. And Quentin Johnston was not. So there's something different about Quentin Johnston, the lack of agility, the lack of vision, and the inability to command any kind of role as a running back or any kind of versatile gadget role in college, right? You don't want too much gadget. You don't want to go full Cordarrelle Patterson, who is another potential comp, by the way, for Quentin Johnston. I mean, you don't want to go all the way. The reason he's not is because Quentin Johnston was not active at all in special teams, and Cordarrelle Patterson, one of the best special teamers. So that's not a comp at all. He really has no comps. Like the one that I'm trying to see, because I'm trying to see the other side of the argument, and I'm like, please, social media, convince me I'm wrong. Is this Deebo Samuel role that he could achieve? But my larger point is that the Chargers didn't draft him for that. They drafted him to take over for Jalen Guyton at the very least to initially. So they drafted him for his explosiveness and his speed down the field. They don't need more close to the line of scrimmage guys. They don't need another guy in the slot. They have Keenan Allen. So if they used him as Deebo, I could see some success based on what he did in college and the fact that his best attribute is tackle breaking. I understand that. But they don't need that. And we'll see if they use him like that. And he isn't Deebo. Okay, Deebo is a once in a lifetime, not a once in a generation, a once in a lifetime receiver. We've never seen anyone like him. And so the idea that Quentin Johnston's going to arrive in the NFL and he's going to be throwing NFL defenders off to the side and totally unable to be tackled in the open field, I got to see it to believe it. And that's just not an outlier I'm chasing. And I can't believe we're doing this. We have a whole show sheet. We have a whole show sheet, Matt. We have a whole show sheet here of non-Quentin Johnston related questions, and we're now 4 minutes into the overtime, and what are we doing? I'm right back to Quentin Johnston.
He's polarizing for us right now. We can't get him out of our minds, but I'm not going to really dive into Deebo because I think he's going to come up here in one of these questions. So why even the Deebo Samuel comp isn't enough for me to get juiced up for QJ.
Okay, so of the players at the various positions, quarterback, running back, tight end, especially wide receiver, oh God, don't. Quentin Johnston, that you're not going to draft in fantasy football. Just give us rapid fire.
Absolutely.
A quarterback, a running back, a wide receiver, a tight end that you're just absolutely not drafting in fantasy, period. Full stop. ADP has to be cratering before you'll get interested.
At quarterback, for me, it's Dak Prescott, and it's not a skill thing. It's not an offense thing. It's an ADP thing. where he's going now in drafts, I'm just willing to wait a little bit longer and get Russell Wilson or Kirk Cousins or Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, who showed really, really improved efficiency metrics last year and also has a little bit of that Konami code running back. So I've just have decided, and I would advise for the team builds that I've put together that I've liked. It was passing on Dak when he was up and just grabbing someone who might be 85% of his production going into next year. And you also just avoid the Mike McCarthy potential landmine. So I have not been drafting any Dak Prescott so far in these startups or any of the drafts that I've done. Running back now.
What if you draft CeeDee Lamb though?
I've been tempted. I've been tempted because I love CeeDee Lamb this year, and he's falling into very, 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 very sweet spots. So if I have CeeDee Lamb, I'm willing to make a exception as long as I'm not reaching for Dak Prescott. I will not reach. But if
you can get Dak Prescott in the 10th round at the FFPC, you know that, right?
Yeah. But I would rather wait like 20, 30 picks, maybe 40 picks, and get one of these other quarterbacks that I just mentioned. So, but if I
have Russell Wilson and Dak Prescott with the exact same projection. So to wait a round or two and get Russell Wilson, I 100% agree with that. As long as you don't have CeeDee Lamb. If you have CeeDee Lamb, my advice is draft fucking Dak Prescott. Okay.
So the
idea that you're gonna pivot, that Daniel Jones and his mind meld with Darren Waller and Isaiah Hodgins. that is some kind of
his legs are good.
You know that's some kind of analog to Dak Prescott. No. There's no Daniel Jones analog. Get out of here.
There's an exception to the QJ rule we talked about in Mind the Mansion is when Zay was gone, all the receivers were gone, and you need a receiver win now. That's your exception. For my Dak Prescott draft exception, it's CeeDee Lamb. It's CeeDee Lamb. Okay, so that is the line in the sand that I will cross over when it comes to Dak Prescott.
Okay, we have to continue to talk about Quentin Johnston. I went back and I looked at the draft where I did actually select Quentin Johnston.
Thou who shall not be named. He's going to be Voldemort. If Matt and Matty Kiwoom are together on a pod, the listeners are going to go, do not say his name.
He has to be a once-in-a-lifetime receiver.
Yeah.
Who actually isn't comparable to that receiver, but he has to be a receiver who's a once-in-a-lifetime receiver that he's a close comparable to in one particular metric, broken tackles, but then isn't actually similar in a bunch of other of the ways that you would compare him to Deebo Samuel. It's not a realistic outcome for him. But I did look at my team because I was curious. I was like, what the fuck was I thinking when I got him? Because I know I found the team that had him. Can I give you the vitals on this team?
Of course.
And it helps to explain what happened.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. The 3 picks before went JSN, Jordan Addison, Zay Flowers. Okay. So those players were off the board. It's my weakest wide receiver group in all of Dynasty.
Okay.
Across all my Dynasty teams, my worst wide receiver group, my weakest.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yes, I could have gone Will Levis at Superflex. I could have gone Dalton Kincaid. I could have gone Kendre Miller. I'm very strong at running back. Rhamondre Johnson, very strong at running back. Weak at wide receiver. So I wasn't compelled to go Kendre Miller. I have a lot of Kendre Miller at that draft spot. Don't worry, everybody. And I also happen to have on that roster Justin Herbert. So it was a stack, best value, need pick, right? So what else? What can I do, man? I got some Quentin Johnston, and if he does somehow become an unprecedented player in the NFL, one we've never seen before. Again, we've never seen a player with his college production, his age-adjusted college production, and athletic profile. We've never seen him do anything in the NFL. But if it happens, then I will have some Quentin Johnston tethered to Justin Herbert and win a championship. So I'm covered.
And Matt Kelly, you've taught me a lot of things, inadvertently, directly, just by me watching you. One thing you did teach me a long time ago: we never take L's in fantasy football. So if you have a share of Quentin, all of a sudden it's like, hey, listen, I did have a share of him, so I was exposed.
Oh, I'll run out the clock on him. If he starts hot, don't worry. I'm not taking
Just
any L's.
grind that.
No. I'm not taking any L's. No.
We don't take L's here and play a profiler, baby. No way.
All right, no, wait. This is your do not draft list, Matt.
Yeah.
This is your dude. Come on.
Okay.
Which
You're
running
the
back
host,
are you
Matt.
not? Give
Matt
us
Kelly,
a running
you're the
back
host
that
here.
you're not drafting.
Okay, the running back I'm not drafting is Rhamondre Stevenson. I'm not drafting Rhamondre, and I know it's going to get Billy mad, and he's going to yell at me tomorrow when I'm on the Dominator with him. But we talked about something I like to call franchise speak on my dimension, and the Patriots have been telling us this whole time. East-West Shrine Bowl game, they wanted to coach only those satellite guys. Then there was this unlogical, irrational love and connection between them and Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. Obviously, they were priced way out of the Patriots' range because they both went inside the top 12. And now
isn't Dalvin Cook now the favorite to land in New England?
Bam, Matt, this is Matt, this is why we just on the same page, Matt. This is why we do so well together, because they're the betting favorite for Dalvin. And then yesterday, out of nowhere, Leonard Fournette is in the building for a tryout. Darnell Washington is in the building for a tryout. They are telling us that they want Rhamondre to dial back his usage. They don't
use playerprofiler.com like we do.
No,
we
don't.
know that Rhamondre Stevenson had incredible tackle breaking and receiving metrics
efficient
last year. He looked the part of an all-purpose stud running back that you would select in the first round, but this is the Patriots.
100%.
And the signals that we're getting from the Patriots are all bad for Rhamondre Stevenson's usage. They also happen to have Pierre Strong, who's a much more explosive playmaker,
right?
Is electric in the passing game. And if he can take a step forward in camp and preseason, he'll get that role. He's best comparable to Elijah Mitchell. And Elijah Mitchell erupted out of absolute vapor, if you remember. In week one, where did this guy come from? Who is this guy? What happened to Trey Sermon? Remember?
Trey Sermon was that surprise and active.
Everyone running to their waiver wire, typing in Elijah Mitchell, who is this guy? Who is this guy?
Right.
And if somehow, some way, the Patriots are down double digits in week one, and we look up and Pierre Strong has more touches than Rhamondre Stevenson in week one, no one is allowed to be surprised by that, because Pierre Strong was an impressive prospect, a fourth-round pick.
Right.
Same draft capital as Rhamondre Stevenson.
Yeah, Stevenson only came in the third. I think it was the mid-third. No, it was exact same. You're right. Exact same. 422, 415. So we're not talking about a second-round guy here. And when you look at Pierre Strong, do you remember that game in Arizona last year?
He looked
where he scored 17
like one of the most explosive running
touches?
backs in the league.
Yeah. Yes. He went crazy.
I just went to the draft kit, the world-famous draft kit. We've got a breakdown for each team's schedule, team by team, the schedule strength.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to see red for receivers, especially satellite backs, because that means it's going to be a difficult matchup, and more likely than not, team's not going to be able to run the ball. Do you know who the... I'm looking at red. I'm staring at red. All I'm seeing is red right now. With the early season schedule for the Patriots and Rhamondre Stevenson. Man. Do you know who they face in week one?
I do, because I knew this. It was burned in my brain. They're honoring Brady, and then they're going to welcome possibly an absolute ass whooping by the Philadelphia Eagles week one.
My God. It's not only a team that's going to outscore them just player by player on offense.
Right.
They wall off the opposing running game. So it's like it's the stone worst matchup possible for Rhamondre Stevenson in week one. I didn't even know that. Like I knew it and it was buried like Inception
out of your brain.
And it was just in there, and I was just thinking it, not knowing,
Yeah.
but it was there somehow, unspoken, right?
Mhm.
But it was the Eagles all along.
And
So-
I mean, we're looking at a defensive line that probably will be healthy. It's week 1. They're not going to go crazy in the preseason. Good luck with Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. Week 1,
Oh,
unleashing maybe
God.
the sturdiest
Jesus
brick wall in
Christ,
football.
They added Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
Oh,
Matt,
my
this is not going to
God.
be fun week 1. No.
No, Rhamondre is going to get buried week 1. Unless he can be super active in the passing game, which the Patriots are telling us that's unlikely to happen. Give us a
Correct.
wide receiver you're not drafting, Matt.
I'm glad you brought this name up at the top of overtime because we're going to dive into why I am not drafting Mr. Deebo Samuel. Vanilla Ice, Matt, Gautier, Chumbawamba, Deebo Samuel. What do they all have in common?
One-hit wonders.
One hit wonders. And I'm not saying that Ice Ice Baby or Someone That You Used to Know aren't jams. They're bangers. I love those songs. But you can't act like they're great bands because they have one good season. Deebo Samuel falls in that category here where it took 8 rushing touchdowns, 1,400 receiving yards. Don't get me wrong. It was one of the most prolific seasons we've seen in recent history. But when you look up and down his player card at playerprofiler.com, you see a whole lot of wide receiver 28s and wide receiver 34s on a points per game basis, not wide receiver 3 that he was in 2021. And when you stack up this upcoming season, he's still got Brandon Ayuk there, George Kittle's there, CMC's there, and they also have Elijah Mitchell, like we talked about. We're expecting him to get a whole bunch of touches to spell and keep Christian McCaffrey healthy. And then there's this mix-up at quarterback. Will it be Trey Lance? That's a joke. It will not be Trey Lance, but it will be Sam Darnold, and it will be Mr. Brock Purdy. And I don't really see too many outs here where Deebo Samuel returns that value where you're having to take him. So I am not drafting Deebo Samuel.
So Deebo Samuel's agility score is like night and day difference from Quentin Johnston. We're talking about like a 60th percentile agility score compared to like a 10th percentile agility score. Okay. Deebo Samuel had more than 20 rush attempts in college.
Right.
Quentin Johnston had less than 10. And most importantly, Deebo Samuel was a special teams wizard. He had more than 1,000 special teams yards at South Carolina. Quentin Johnston was never used on special teams because he just doesn't have the vision and the lateral quickness that Deebo Samuel does. They're both bullies. They both have that strength to stiff-arm defenders and get yak. No question. But Deebo is Deebo because he's got everything. He's got the explosiveness and the lateral quickness and the strength. Quentin Johnston has some percentage of that Deebo skill set, but not enough. And already Deebo Samuel has had incredible volatility because yards after the catch is not nearly as sticky year to year as air yards. If you're commanding targets down the field, then you're going to be able to put up 1,000-yard season after 1,000-yard season, even if you're dropping passes, even if you're weak at the catch point, like Mike Evans has been on and off in his career, right? He's had some years where he was the least efficient downfield wide receiver in all of football, and he still put up the 1,000-yard seasons, was still fantasy relevant because he didn't rely on yak. If you live and die by yak, you're going to have seasons where you die. And that's the problem with Deebo Samuel, and also just another reason Quentin Johnston has no goddamn chance in hell of doing anything in the NFL. He's going to be a total bust.
Don't let these buzzards sway you even 1%, Mr. Matt Kelly. You're the damn podfather. Don't let these
We
guys do
came
that.
into this with one mission, which was to talk about anyone other than Quentin Johnston.
We're doing okay.
We've officially talked more about Quentin Johnston than any other player because we just can't execute a plan here at Player Profiler, especially with the Mind of Mansion show. Which tight end are you avoiding?
I'm avoiding Dalton Kincaid. In rookie drafts, fine. If he falls to the right spot, I understand that situation. But startups, seasonals, he's just too rich for my blood, Matt. I like his catchability, his body movement, and how he can contort to make catches is definitely impressive for a guy of his size. But I don't know what his role is. I think his most his biggest supporters say he's going to be a big Cole Beasley. I don't know.
What?
That's kind of what I've heard.
What? That's what I've heard. You've heard that?
A big slot. Yeah, a big Cole Beasley. I don't see that happening.
That's gross.
Stephon Diggs is still right. If that's his ceiling, then what are we talking here? Dalton Knox gets touchdowns. Also, Matt, did you realize they gave Dalton Knox a $50 million contract?
Dawson Knox or Dalton Schultz?
Oh my God! Here, when I do the
because that's who Dalton Kincaid is.
Yeah.
If you've got a particle acceleration chamber, right, and you put Dawson Knox and Dalton Schultz in that machine, the door would open, smoke would clear, and out would step Dalton Kincaid. Hey, I want to take a moment to thank you for tuning in. It's important to me that all of our media be free. This is only possible because of you allowing a true independent sports media enterprise to thrive unlike any other in the business. So please subscribe to the All In Package to continue to make all of this possible, to ensure that all of our stats, information, data, content is available to you, especially you, the people that get the site and get the show.